the Basilisk 3V grenade launcher, and the Viper gas grenades. Part of the new McShay weapon DLC, this combo lets you experience what it feels like to be a biochemical terrorist. And it lets you relive the old days of pre-nerf Swansong, when every weapon could do shit like this. Okay, maybe not quite like this, but you get the point. The grenade launcher and the gas grenades are, in my opinion, probably the most interesting part of this DLC, offering some interesting new playstyles and tactics one can employ, while at the same time still being incredibly effective. I wouldn't say it's quite as overpowered as the rest of the weapons of this DLC, but both of these are definitely strong nonetheless. Stats-wise, there's not much to this gun. It does have oddly high concealment, so it's a decent pick for dodge and crit builds, but as far as damage goes, as a grenade launcher, it has the lowest damage of all the explosive weapons. Primary grenade launchers go for 1300 damage, the China Puff has 960, and the Arbiter has 480. So the Basilisk's 320 is definitely the lowest, but it hasn't been too noticeable because of the burst functionality. With the highest rate of fire of the grenade launchers, each shot comes out relatively quick, and if you're fast enough, you can also swipe your aim so that the grenades land in different spots to cover more area. As a burst weapon, it'll always shoot 2 grenades if you have a full magazine. However, when you're reloading, you can stop early and only reload 1 grenade. This helps you save ammo and such, but it also kind of defeats the whole point of the weapon, so if you just wanted a gun with better ammo management, I'd just use another grenade launcher. So here's my build for today's video. Now, as far as grenade launchers go, you don't really need a whole lot. I mean, there aren't really a whole lot of skills that directly affect them anyway. So I've got my tried and true leech setup. I know, very, very unique. I have Inspire with dock bags, jokers and the health skills, all that good stuff. I do have Bullseye still for armor gating. This is just for my primary weapons. This won't affect the grenade launcher at all. And I also have some ammo skills here. Now, this kind of contradicts the dock bags I picked up, but I did want to showcase Bulletstorm and the grenade launcher. They're a very fun combo, and while I may not use it much in this video, or possibly at all depending on which clips I choose, it's a fun combo for some good shenanigans. Nothing in Technician this time. I do have crits, again, for my primary weapons. And I also picked up Swansong because, like Bulletstorm, this has a very good synergy with the grenade launcher. As far as the grenade launcher goes, I didn't mod it with much. Just the exclusive set, which gives the gas grenades, and a little laser. And that's all. My primaries, I'm running some Akimbo SMGs. That's it. Just get some good concealment, and you're good. So of the weapons we got from the McShay weapon pack, this Basilisk grenade launcher and the accompanying gas grenades are probably the most interesting and the more balanced additions to the pack. You know, they're strong for sure, but at least from my time using it, they're not outright overpowered or a blatant disregard of balance like the other weapons. That said, it's also not terribly unique. I know I said that it's a new addition to the game, but poison has already been around for a while, and functionally it's very similar to fire or Molotovs. Alright, so is it actually worth using then? The way these gas grenades work is that they deal damage over time from the residual gas. The damage over time is actually quite low. On harder difficulties, you won't be killing a whole lot of people with it. In that regard, it's not quite as useful as fire grenades if you're just looking for quick kills. The flame grenades and the Molotovs are way more effective at applying high dot damage. But these gas grenades also retain a fair amount of explosive damage. So unlike fire grenades, where it has basically no damage from the initial explosion, the gas grenades will still be very useful for bouncing people around and killing things like shields. They're also quick to break bulldozer faceplates, making it pretty similar to the regular explosive grenades. And lastly, these grenades stick around for an incredibly long time, way longer than fire grenades. So you can shoot it off, reload your gun, switch to your secondary weapon, or your primary weapon actually, finish people off, and the gas will still be up. With fire grenades, it's actually kind of tough to keep it up at all times since you have to really focus on reloading it, shooting it, and just keep up the fire uptime. The gas is way more lenient in that regard, and personally, I enjoy it a lot more since it allows me to do other things if I need to. So mechanically, that's how it differs from fire grenades. As you can see, it's actually not very different for the most part. From my testing, it doesn't seem like the gas is quite as effective as fire is for getting people to do the little dance. And what I mean by the dance is that animation they go through when they catch on fire, or for the gas grenades, when they go into that vomiting animation. I mean, it's not like I did in-depth analyze testing for this, but at least from my minimal experience, it doesn't seem like it's quite as effective in that department. Still, it doesn't diminish how strong the crowd control is for this weapon. So with this gas in particular, it goes through walls, which is really apparent if you happen to have one of those HUD mods on. Realistically, this has pretty limited usage, but in small, tight maps, it can do wonders. For example, in No Mercy, it's crazy stupid strong, since it'll be able to hit enemies trying to pass in the corridor, and it'll hit enemies that are spawning in the vents above, or they're trying to come down in the rooms next to you. It'll just hit everything. It's really handy to have for any of the heists where you can easily access where the enemies spawn. Take No Mercy, Shacklethorne Mansion, Slaughterhouse. Basically, you can spawn trap the enemies. You can start hurting them before they're even in your reach from conventional methods. This also massively delays the enemy rush towards you, which is probably one of the most challenging things about the higher difficulties, where enemies just pile on top of you in droves. Thus, I gotta say, this gun does a pretty damn good job at fulfilling its crowd control duties. Like I mentioned earlier though, using gas will rarely kill stuff, so you will have to make sure that you're still building with ballistic weapons or something of the sort to finish people off. That being said, it does open another fun avenue for people to try. Someone in my Discord mentioned this, but this weapon setup pairs really well with melee focus builds, making it potentially a great synergy. So while the poison doesn't outright kill enemies very often, what it does do is whittle down their health quite a bit, since the AI is pretty dumb and they like to just stand like right at the gas. So this leaves them primed to getting finished with a melee attack, which may otherwise be a little bit more difficult if you didn't have the gas grenades. So that's something worth remembering. Now so far what I've been talking about is mostly the gas grenades, which, you can equip on any grenade launcher or even extra throwable, so that doesn't really apply to this new grenade launcher by itself. As far as the Basilisk goes, I'm not terribly sold on it. That's not to say that I think it's a bad weapon per se, but it's definitely just something that I don't think takes advantage of the gas mechanics. With regular explosive grenades, I think that actually fares a lot better with it, because sometimes you won't finish your enemy off with just one shot, so a quick second follow-up shot with a grenade is just what you need. In general though, it's probably really dependent on your playstyle. For me, I feel like I'm just wasting ammo, since more often than not, I don't need to plop down 2 gas grenades back to back. Sure, they will take the double initial explosive damage, but they'll also take double the dot damage. But the dot damage is so low, so it's not actually like it's helping that much in killing them faster, at least not from what I've gathered. Perhaps it might make the crowd control effect stronger, because the second gas also has perhaps a chance to activate the vomiting animation. That would be pretty hard to test, and, I don't really want to bother with that, so I can't say either, but I suppose it is a possibility. Really though, for general play, the burst fire nature of the Basilisk isn't all that useful. Like I said, maybe for regular explosives, but for gas and electric grenades, it's not super necessary. At the very least though, you'd think that because it's always shooting 2 grenades that maybe this might lead to ammo problems, but I actually didn't notice it at all. The ammo pickup seems to be pretty good, and it never became an issue for me to factor into my gameplay. And of course, really, the main thing about burst fire is the absurd shenanigans that you can get to with Bullet Storm and Swan Song. Since it fires so fast, you can cover an entire map with gas, no problem. Is it useful? Not particularly, at least not with the gas grenades, but it is pretty fucking fun. And this game sorely needs more of that. So, all in all, the wombo combo of gas grenades and the new weapon make for an interesting niche, something that I'm really happy to have. I'd much rather take a fun, unique weapon that's trying something new over just the same old weapon, but they're blatantly overpowered. Allowing for new ways to play or strategies that you can use in the game is something I'm all for. Well, in any case, that's all I got for you guys today. So, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching, and fuck you. I'll see you next time.